see, there's nothing to do anymore. Everything decent's been done. All the great themes have been used up, turned into theme parks.
Quarantined, lockdown, whatever you want to call it, starting to get old really fast. Normally on a Saturday night, I would be sitting here in the junk room at my desk, talking to you guys. Well, I guess not that much change for me, but with the option gone to even do anything if I wanted to, it gets pretty boring pretty fast. But what can we do? Make the best of it, right? So, a good time to dust off that DVD player, look under the couch sofa for the DVD remote, and watch some DVD or Blu-rays or whatever you want to call them. I always say DVD even when I mean Blu-ray. Are we going to really get that technical? Oh, I had that movie on DVD. Technically, it was released on Blu-ray. Oh, it's a home video disc. It's DVD. Anyway, I got a stack right here of some movies I'm going to recommend for you. And I tried to go through my collection and find movies that maybe wasn't that popular. I mean, I don't got Star Wars and Raiders and Aliens and Big Trouble in Little China and Tag the Assassination Game. Man, I wish I did have Tag the Assassination Game on DVD. I never even seen it on VHS. But these are 15 movies that I think maybe you should check out while we're locked up in quarantine. Some of them you may have heard of. You might say, that's kind of popular. But it's ones that maybe I don't hear that much talk about. So let's just start right here with a VHS, because this is a bootleg. Here goes. Song of the South. One of Disney's best films, and I don't care what you say, it's not racist. I mean, sure, there's some stereotypes, you could say, and stuff like that, but honestly, when you watch this movie, to me, maybe in being a straight white male, I don't get it. But I've had some friends that not white, and they watched it with me and really didn't understand the controversy either. I'll let you see it up close. This is, of course, a bootleg copy, and yes, they talk kind of bad, and yes, they kind of have a bad southern talk. Not bad language, just, the not too educated, I guess, when they talk, but that's how Uncle Remus was if you read the books. It's a really good, charming Disney movie, and I really hate that it's kind of got the backlash or the bad talk that it does. Stars, of course, Uncle Remus, right there, as you can see, who's a lovable character. You watch this movie and you'll fall in love with Uncle Remus. People say that he's a slave, but I think this movie takes place sometime a little after the Civil War. And he's not a slave, although he does live on a plantation. But again, it's a movie that's about that time period. So it's got Burr Rabbit, of course, and it's got some really good scenes. They're a live action mixed with a little bit of cartoons, and got even Burr Bear on the back of it. Look at that. Burr. It's really good, and I really hate that it gets the stench that it gets. So if you can find it, there's no official U.S. release of it, but if you can find Song of the South, probably can download it online somewhere illegally, but check it out. Like I said, it's really heartwarming. I love it. My kids even watched it. We all loved Song of the South. One of the first movies I can remember actually seeing in the theater when they re-released it sometime around in the 70s. There is something strange if you watch it. There's the father on it has to leave for an important business, something they keep hinting at, but they never actually say what it is, and it's always bothered me. Why is he leaving the family behind, the kids and everything? It's almost like maybe he's going to war, but the Civil War is over by this time period, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, Song of the South, check that out. Let's see where I can put that so I don't get in the way. Here's another one I think most of you probably know. But I wanted to put it out here because it's not really popular, like a Pulp Fiction or Aliens or something. It's Kyle Newman's Fanboys. Now, any of you that watch my videos, if you're into Star Wars, you'll love this. Especially if you grew up maybe in the 80s or in the 90s more when the internet was really taking off. If you know who Harry Knowles is, you'll get this. And there's a lot of great cameos in it. I mean, we've got William Shatner. We've got Carrie Fisher, I think's in it. Ray Park Jr. That's the guy seen Ghostbusters. Bray Park, you know, Darth Maul, he's in it. Shooter McGavin, Kevin Smith. There's a lot of people in here. Let me see on the back if it says. It doesn't say who the special guest stars. This one's got a lot of extras on it. But one of their friends has got cancer, and they want to break into Skywalker Ranch so that they can watch The Phantom Menace before it's released and before their friend dies of cancer. It's just a lot of fun. It's not the best movie ever, but I think if you're not really into Star Wars and know these type of people, it might not be that good to you. But if you've got friends, I mean, you can relate to a lot of people in here, and you're like, oh man, that's just like me and my buddies, or hey man, that's just like some other guy I know. Check it out, Fanboys. Took a long time to get released. I remember they made this movie, and it got edited and pushed around for years before it got released. And I would love to see a sequel to this. I think that'd be really good. Maybe, oh look, still got the price tag on it. But check it out, Fanboys. Again, if you haven't seen it and you're into this channel, into the stuff I talk about here, I know you'll love this movie. You'll love it a lot. I'll put them over here. And here's another one I think y'all know is more recent, but I don't hear much talk about it either. And this one here is Paul. Have you seen Paul, about the aliens? Simon Pegg and came up Nick Frost. This kind of buddy comedy movie, and they find Alien, voiced by Seth Rogen. I really love this movie. Directed by the guy that made Superbad. Who is that anyway? Who directed that? I don't know. Too small print. But really, they're two science fiction geeks, and they really capture that. I mean, they go to Comic-Con at the beginning. There's a lot of good Easter egg references to other movies and stuff. I think you'll get it. I really enjoyed it. Now, I like these two when they were in Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. And then the other one, the beer drinking one, can't remember the name off the top of my head. So I really enjoyed this. Now, those movies were directed by Edgar Wright. He didn't work on this one, but it's still, I really enjoyed it. It's not one of the best comedies of all times, but it's one I can throw on at any time, watch it on TV, and just enjoy it for what it is. It's pretty good. Really good buddy film. So put that there. Now here's another one you probably haven't seen, and I did a whole video review about it, so you might want to check that out. This is a fan-made movie of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Back in the 80s, these kids made Raiders of the Lost Ark shot-for-shot remake of Raiders. It took them like all the 80s, like 7 years to make it. And actually, they couldn't do the airplane scene, the one where he's fighting the mechanic, so they went back about 5 years ago as an adults and finally finished it with that scene. But check out my review on it if you don't know about it. I know Netflix had a making of, but this is the actual movie here. It's really great. Let's just see some of the scenes from the film. But these kids, they're teenagers, buddies, and they made a shot-for-shot remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's just amazing itself. I mean, these kids set their basement on fire so they could reenact the bar scene. So if you're a fan of Raiders, you have to see this. Trust me. Now, back in the 80s, they couldn't just, watch the movie anytime they wanted to when they started on this anyway. They didn't have a videotape of it. They would have to go to the theater and write down what they were going to do. It's amazing work that a couple of kids could pull this off. This one has commentary track on this one, and it rattles a lot. But check this out right here. Check that out. And even still, Steven Spielberg, to this day, still the best piece of flattery George and I have ever received. Check that out right there if you can find it. And check out my review on it also, where I show some clips and everything from it. I think you'll really enjoy it. And here's another one right here. Time After Time. Has anybody seen that? Time After Time. This is H.G. Wells' time machine. Guess who steals a time machine, hijacks it, runs into the 80s? Jack the Ripper. No, you thought I was going to say Jack Tripper, but no. Jack the Ripper steals H.G. Wells' time machine, and then H.G. Wells has to go after him, and they go to the 80s, where H.G. Wells meets, what's her name? I had it in my head right before I grabbed it. Mary Steenburgen. Of course, she plays someone else. No, she don't play herself. Michael McDowell plays H.G. Wells. And who plays Jack the Ripper? Oh, God, I cannot believe I forgot his name. David Warner. Is there any more bad guy in the 80s than David Warner? This is a really good movie. Let's see the back of it right there. Check this out if you hadn't seen it. It's probably late 70s or maybe 80s. If it's got a year on it. It has to be early 80s. Check it out time after time. If you're into science fiction movies, please check this one out. It's really good. Here's another one I think you all know, especially grew up in the 80s. I really enjoyed this movie, Pulp Fiction. Did I say Pulp Fiction? What's wrong with me? Edit that out, I guess. Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater. Now, I hear a lot about teen movies in the 80s, and I don't hear this one, or is this 80s or is it 90s? It's got to be very close to the 90s. 1990, so I guess technically it's a 90s movie, but it's probably filmed in the 80s. But, when I hear about teen movies and stuff, you hear, Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire. You don't hear many people bring up Pump Up the Volume. And Chris Slater plays this guy. He's a teenager in high school, and he has a pirate radio station in his basement where he talks about some goings-ons at the school and everything. And it's really good. I think with the internet nowadays, with podcasting and everything, this would be very interesting if they remade it. Didn't get stupid with it, but I think they could really remake this today with podcasting, and because it's almost like he's one of the first podcasters. The pirate radio station. They try to shut him down and everything. Really good. Written really well. It's really good with him just doing his dialogue in the microphone. Some really good stuff. And speaking of radio and podcasts, I guess this is one of my favorite movies right here. Check this out. Talk Radio by Oliver Stone. Again, another movie I hear people talk about the director of, but I don't hear many people talk about Talk Radio. I couldn't even hardly find this on DVD, and when I did, it was a lot of money just for the DVD. It's a true story or based on a true story. It's not technically true. It's like Barry Champlain. He's a radio guy. He's kind of like, I wouldn't say Howard Stern. He's not like a shock jock. I guess more like maybe somebody like Rush Limbaugh. Maybe he's very opinionated, and he gets on there and he screams and talks. People call into the show and they get all upset with him. One guy's like, I'm going to kill you. And it's about his last night on the radio before he gets syndicated all over the country. And, it's really good for him money-wise, but kind of feel like he's selling out, I guess, also. It's a really good Oliver Stone film. If you can find it, I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but if you can find it, please get it. Please watch this one. I mean, Oliver Stone does almost everything good, so check out Talk Radio. It's really good. Here's another one. It looks like I bought this one as a previous view. This is one here. William H. Macy, The Cooler. This is a guy, his works at a casino, and if somebody's doing really good on a blackjack or playing if someone's doing really good on blackjack or something, the boss of the casino, Alex Baldwin here, sends this guy over, and he's kind of like bad luck. Whenever this guy stands next to somebody, like on a slot machine or roulette, you put this guy next to him. He's called the Cooler, and apparently all casinos have them. I don't think they probably do, but he brings bad luck to them and makes them start to lose, and they quit playing, and the casino doesn't lose a bunch of money. It's a very good movie. Falls in love with this lady right here. It's William H. Macy's, one of his best movies. At least he's the lead. I mean, he's great in Fargo also. Don't forget that. But his luck starts to change once he falls in love. So check that out if you haven't seen it. And here's another one I really don't hear anyone talk about. I'm not going to say it's a great movie. It's more like an okay movie, but I think you guys out there that like this type of stuff will get more out of it than just the average person. Comic book villains. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't really remember that much about this movie. I bought it when it came out. See if it's got a year on it. I know it's probably early 2000s. Let's see here. Why don't they put years on these things? Let's open it up and see if there's a year on the inside. Look at that. I still got my receipt that I bought it at DC Warehouse. Let's see when I bought this thing. Comic book villain, $7.99. When did I buy this? 2004 I bought it. So, but honestly, I can't remember much about it. Bought it mostly because of the name, and I heard some people online talking about it. It's got a year in here. No year. 2002. 2002. There we go. But when I remember these guys own a comic book store and their business is starting to hurt, there's another business down the road that's kind of like comic book, but he sells action figures and everything else also. And I remember the main kid makes friend with this lady who's getting really old in age. She has a huge comic book collection of like her sons or something, so they're hoping to get their hands on it. Let's see, maybe this will help me out. To some, comic books are a hobby, but for Raymond and Norman, they're a ray of life. Both men own comic book stores in the same sleepy town, and both are after the hottest ticket in town, a rare collection of old comic books, worth millions to the right dealer. However, when the owner won't sell, it becomes a madcap freefall, with friends turning against friends in a battle for the loot. As the stakes get higher, the antics take a dark turn and leads to greed, betrayal, and murder. So check that out. Comic book villains. I think, if you're into comic books, geeky stuff, you'll really enjoy that. And again, I don't hear many people talk about that right there, so I think you'll enjoy it. Comic book villains. Here's one that I saw back in the 80s who come on HBO all the time out of the blue. Never really sat down for a long time and just watched the whole thing, but man, it's good. The gods must have been crazy. It's shot almost like a documentary, and the best part is when this guy's on screen. He finds a Coke bottle. They throw it up in the air trying to return it to the gods because they don't know what it is. The bottle comes back down and hits them on the head. They're natives and they don't know what this thing is. So his plan, they send him off to find the edge of to find the edge of Earth and throw it off the edge. So to get rid of this thing that's brought them nothing but trouble. When they first find it, they love it. They can put water in it. They can make stuff with it. But then greed takes over and they start fighting. There's an archaeologist, Crocodile Dundee-like dude that's in the movie also. It's really good. It's not one you hear about. Now, I know they made a sequel to this. I never saw the sequel, never heard much good about it. But check this out. The gods must have been crazy. It's just so weird and wacky. It's really funny, especially the first half. By the end of it, it kind of starts to lose me. But I really love that one. Here's another one here. Again, I don't hear many people talk about this, and I really like this when it came out. Confidence. Confidence starring Edward Burns. Who else is in this? I actually have a poster of this, all signed by the cast. I liked it so much. Dustin Hoffman, Andy Garcia, Rachel Weisz. I mean, how can you not? It's just a con movie. You've seen any kind of con movie, about the same. They're trying to run a con. They're all kind of looking out for each other. And I don't want to say too much about it because it's one of those movies where it's best not to know what you're getting into when you get into it. Dustin Hoffman's kind of weird in it. I think he's got like a stuttering problem and runs a strip club. Edward Burns is great in it, but he's great in about everything. Andy Garcia is really good in it also. So check out Confidence if you've never seen that one. Now, I'm a huge Albert Brooks fan. One of the best movies, funniest movies I've seen is anything with Albert Brooks in it. He did one called Mother, which I wish I had on DVD. I thought I did. I couldn't find it. Really love that. Mother. Check that out. But here's another one he did released about the same time, The Muse. He's a screenwriter, and he's down on his luck. He hadn't been able to write a good movie in a while. He meets Sharon Stone. She's the muse. She just being around her, you get this inspiration of what you can write and everything. It don't sound that good when you sit here and talk about it, but it's really good, especially if you like this type of Albert Brooks comedy. If you've seen any Albert Brooks movies, besides his part in Twilight Zone, that was good too. I think you'll enjoy it. If you've ever seen Mother with him, I love Mother. But he's done a lot of good movies, Albert Brooks. I mean, he's been around since the 70s, maybe earlier than that. Really good. Check it out. The Muse. Whew. Okay, now I'm going to get to one of my favorite movies of all times. If I did a top 5, this would probably be in it. And sadly, again, I don't hear many people talk about it, and it's one of the best soundtracks ever also. If you watch my channel, you've heard me talk about Beautiful Girls. I have to bring this up whenever I talk about movies. It's the only movie I've rented and watched 2 times in one day. It's that coming of age thing. These young guys right here are in their late 20s probably, maybe early 30s. One of them comes back for a high school reunion. And it's really just about them, their relationships and everything. Natalie Portman is great in this as Marty, a little 13-year-old girl that lives next to Conway here. Willie Conway. I can't think of his name. And they each have their own little stories and everything, but it's really, love this movie to death. Beautiful Girls. And if you ever find the soundtrack, I only can find it on CD. I don't find it online or anything. Check it out. Beautiful Girls. Love that movie. Love it. Love it. And one more right here. The true story of the guy that hosted the Gong Show. Remember the Gong Show? What was his name? Chuck Berry? No, Chuck Barris. Chuck Barris is a singer. Chuck Barris from the Gong Show. Sam Rockwell plays him. And come on, who doesn't like Sam Rockwell? Speaking of him, you seen The Moon? Well, it's just called Moon. Seen that? It's really good. But he plays the host. See right there, the host of the Gong Show. And you're thinking, how can that be good? The host of the Gong Show? I mean, come on. But apparently, according to him, the host of the Gong Show, and he wrote a book about it, that he was actually worked for the CIA, or maybe it's, CIA, not the FBI, CIA. See if it says on here. Yep, he was a CIA assassin, undercover. And when he wasn't making Gong Show, he was running jobs for the CIA, doing assassins and stuff. It's directed by George Clooney, right? Yeah, directed by George Clooney. I think it's one of his movies, or one of his first movies he's directed. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I can even read and write when it's in my hand. Finally, one more. Let's get to it. And we're going to go to a documentary I wish I heard more people talk about. Heard people talk about when it came out, and then that was about it. I think I've talked about it on this channel before. It's a film by Kirby Dick. What a great name for a director. And this is a documentary called This Film Is Not Yet Rated. And it's got a lot of people on it. Let's see. It's got Kevin Smith. He started up again. Who is that? One of the guys from South Park. So what is this movie about? This is about how movies get their ratings. If you ever wonder how a movie gets rated, shut up. If you ever wonder, put that on mute. If you ever wonder how a movie gets rated, watch this. It's more interesting than it sounds. The whole body of the team that rate movies are unknown. They're just average people, and their names are unknown. No one knows who they are, except Kirby Dick tracked them down. And you're really fascinated about how some of them come up with why they give a movie an R-rated or a PG-13 or something. It's really good. It's got, let's see, Kevin Smith, John Waters, Matt Stone, the director of Boys Don't Cry. But yeah, if you're into movies and stuff, you really want to see how movies get rated, check this out. This Film Is Not Yet Rated. Really good documentary. Really wish I heard more people talk about this when they talk about documentaries. You know, one of my favorites is, of course, King of Kong. I was going to talk about it, and I figured everybody talks about King of Kong. Got to talk about This Film Is Not Yet Rated, because I don't hear enough people talk about it. So check that out. But that's 15 movies that I think you should watch while you're in quarantine. Now, in the comments section below, tell me about some movies I should watch, or maybe some of the other viewers should watch. But try to keep it out of the really popular movies. I mean, don't say Back to the Future, or you gotta see this movie I saw called Aliens. I mean, come on. Let's try to keep it more obscure movies, or something new that may be streaming that we can check out on Netflix or Hulu or something. Anyway, everybody stay safe out there, and till the next video, thumb up this one so I know you like my content, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.